We're live.
Chat now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and we have some technical difficulties today. So that's why we're broadcasting a little bit differently today. Anyway, today is November 12th, 2021, and of course I want to thank you for watching, thank you for holding out, and just remember, if you like the show, hit the share button, hit the like button, and of course you can comment live during the show on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. That is working, so feel free to comment. And you guys, who knows my favorite comment? If you know my favorite comment, put it up now. There you go. All right. You can also attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and you will learn about real estate investing and stock options investing. All right. So on today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about the market update. We're going to be talking about J&J splitting up. We're going to be talking about the consumer sentiment being at a low. We're going to be talking about also the next Bitcoin ETF. We're going to be talking about Disney Plus marking 2 years. My next book, I'm going to talk about that as well, and of course the wrap-up show. So let's talk a little bit about what happened today in the Dow Jones. So the Dow actually finished up about 180 points. Not bad at all. So that's kind of great, actually. The S&P was up 33, and of course the Nasdaq was up 156. And look, you have to remember that the market's just going to keep going. It's going to go in the right direction, and hopefully we're going to do well here, and everything will be fine. All right, what else we got here? So let's talk a little bit about J&J splitting up. So J&J today announced plans to split the consumer products business from its pharmaceutical and medical device operations. Honestly, I think this is a great idea. They'll be publicly traded companies. The separation will disconnect its household products unit, which is the maker of Band-Aid bandages, Aveeno, Neutrogena skincare products, and of course Listerine, from its riskier and faster-growing division that makes and sells prescription drugs and medical devices, including its its COVID-19 vaccine. And of course, that is the problem. That's probably what it's all about, because it makes sense for the company as the vaccine is starting to wind down and probably will start to get bad press in the new year as side effects and mortality issues will rise, just like they do with any other prescription drug. I mean, my thoughts of the vaccine itself is one thing, but all drugs will eventually show the side effects. So we'll start to see it. They'll start to get some bad press, just like Moderna will and Pfizer will. That's just common sense. But then again, there's no such thing anymore. The company said it hopes to complete the transaction within 18 to 24 months. The pharmaceutical and medical device division, which includes advanced technologies like robotics and artificial intelligence, would remain the name Johnson & Johnson and keep J&J's incoming CEO, Jaquan Duato, as its helm. They also have not decided on a name for the secondary company. The stock moved up today about 3%, and the announcement included a statement that the company planned to keep its total divided at least the same level following the change. J&J currently sports a dividend yield of about 2.6%. All right, if you recall this week, it was dividend, the other word, wasn't it? All right. Anyway, if you recall this week, we're having all kinds of technical difficulties today. If you recall this week, GE also said they were going to split up into 3 companies, and at this time, GE moved about 15 points when that happened, and since then it lost about 7 of those. I expect the same with J&J. J&J will moved up today about 2.5 points, and my guess it'll settle back to about 160 shortly, and I believe that will be a really good play. So consumer confidence hit a 10-year low in November as inflation climbed to the highest levels since the early 1990s. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index is an algorithm that's been used to determine the overall feeling. The numbers tumbled to 66.8 for November, according to the reading was the lowest since November 2011 and well below the Dow Jones estimate of 72.5. October's reading was 71.7, meaning that the November level represented a 6.8 drop. The survey showed that consumers expecting still higher rates of inflation, with the 12-month forecast nudging up to 4.9%. This number reminds me of falling numbers of the Supreme Leader, President Poopy Pants. His approval rating is in the 30% range, and it shows. Oh, by the way, I've often argued with people about who the worst president in my lifetime was. Many said Obama. And frankly, I never thought he was the worst. I really thought Jimmy Carter was the worst. But I wanted to thank Poopy Pants for helping me never have to have this argument again. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, and of course, we also have people leaving their jobs in record numbers because the Supreme Leader continues to make masks and vaccines a priority for a virus that's mostly gone instead of concentrating on making America great again. I sure could use a mean tweet, consumer confidence being in the 90s again, and gas me at $1.50 a gallon. This will probably affect the economy going into the new year. Inflation is also causing pain, and it will soon make a tumble in the market. Be cautious in the next few months as we head for danger, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to start heading for danger, and it is what it is. All right. The next Bitcoin ETF, of course, was rejected. 2 weeks ago, the first Bitcoin ETF was launched. BITO, B-I-T-O, is the symbol, and it has bounced between 37 and 43 cents. BITO is not actually a Bitcoin. It's not actually a Bitcoin following ETF. It's an ETF based on the futures or options to buy Bitcoin. I actually find it interesting that the price fluctuates up or down, respectively, with Bitcoin moving up or down. Frankly, this is actually backwards. It should be completely opposite way. When Bitcoin goes up, BITO should go down, and when Bitcoin goes down, BITO should go up because it's on the futures. The fund should actually buy Bitcoin when it's down and sell again when Bitcoin is up. But it's still a young fund, and I'm sure that some are still getting their feet wet. By the way, a newly fund was set to launch, and that directly tied the price. This one directly tied the price of Bitcoin to the security. However, the Securities and Exchange Commission announced today that it has rejected the Bitcoin exchange traded fund run by Van Eck that would have directly tracked the digital currency, and that's what happened. All right. The application was filed in March by the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, which wanted the SEC to make a rule change allowing it to list the Van Eck Bitcoin fund. The SEC said that COBE had not done enough to demonstrate it could prevent fraudulent trading to protect investors. That rationale is in line with the previous rejections of the SEC proposing ETFs that would track Bitcoin directly, including Van Eck and the CBOE have been trying to release the first U.S. Bitcoin ETF for almost 10 years. But the SEC has been slow to embrace one, citing concerns about the lack of regulation and potential fraud and manipulation in the Bitcoin market. They're worried about this one? Seriously? Personally, I think this is kind of silly. Bitcoin is, certainly becoming a household name and a worldwide commodity. It's proven itself to be real, and even if the prices are still wild, they still are not as crazy as they used to be. I like the idea of a Bitcoin ETF that's directly related to Bitcoin. It makes sense, and the world is definitely ready for it. If I understood it more, I would even open a small fund for this and myself, and that's really how much I believe in it. As far as BITO, B-I-T-O goes, this is not a great fund for me. It owns no Bitcoin, and as you probably know, futures and options are extremely volatile, so it kind of worries me. I'm not a big fan of it. All right, so anyway, we're probably going to take a break at this point, but we're going to move on because we're having some technical difficulties. But I want to remind you that we're going to be moving to 7:30 a.m. as of Monday, November 29th, and we'll be broadcasting this show on WWDB in Philadelphia while on social media venues like you see now. Of course, those are YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and you can always leave comments. By the way, I'm noticing that Dave is saying the feed is choppy. Dave, I'm hoping it's fixed. Let me know. You also can leave comments on the social media sites. Hey, leave one now. Of course, leave my favorite comment. You know what it is. You know what it is. So leave my favorite comment, and let's see if we can keep this show going today, even with our technical difficulties. All right. So real quick, of course, we've been discussing the market update. We've been discussing the fact that the Dow is up about 180, the S&P is up 33, and the Nasdaq was up 156. All right. You guys hit the share button. Come on, hit the share button. Let me know you like the show. That way, we can let everybody else see the show. I'm not even sure if I want you to share it today. It's having some trouble today. Let's talk a little bit about Disney Plus. So the other day, Disney stock plummeted, as the entertainment giant missed earnings on all fronts. They also remarked in their guidance that Disney Plus streaming service was losing steam. Well, today it marked the 2-year anniversary of the Disney Plus service. Like, I remember buying the package, and I believe it was a first-year price of about $90 for the annual membership. I watched with enjoyment all the special shows about Disneyland, Disney World, and all the early years of the company. By the way, I've always been a fan. I've been a big fan of Disney shows and the parks. I also watch the Star Wars shows that Disney now owns on the channel as well. I really enjoyed the CGI. I don't know if you guys ever saw this, the CGI of Luke Skywalker in the last episode of the second season of Mandalorian. It was kind of cool. However, my interest in the programming, like most of the media subscription I have, has faded. It is what it is, right? So Disney Plus was promoting the streaming service very hard over the last few days and stated new programming is coming soon. Of course, the scamdemic shut down most of Hollywood and other movie production sites, and now that slowed the release of new shows. Now that people are starting to wake up from a COVID coma, many businesses like this will start producing again. I'm all for this. It's a great stock buy, and I actually bought some calls on the stock, and my target price is a mere 175, so I think I'll do really well. I think I'm going to go home and watch some Fantasia tonight. By the way, the Wizard Mickey is my absolute favorite. Some people are saying we're crashing. I apologize. It is what it is. We tried to get the show on. We had a serious computer crash, so we're using some other systems to make this work, and my apologies. But let me tell you about my next book. Did you know I'm releasing a new book? By the way, it's a long-awaited book that I've been writing, for the past 2 years, or maybe even the past 10 years. This book is a book that's called Money Hacks, and it has the subtitle, Because Everything You Think You Know About Money is Wrong. In this book, I describe all the techniques we discuss in investor schooling about how to make more money, pay less taxes, and live the life you have always wanted to live. The book isn't available yet. However, you can pre-order on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. So if you go to barnesandnoble.com, you can pre-order. One of my favorite chapters in the book is called Can Money Buy Happiness? So what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think money can buy happiness. Come on, let me know in the comments if you think money can buy happiness. I'm dying to see what your thoughts are on that as well. So, of course, we've been discussing so far the market update, the J&J splitting up, going to split up into two companies. We've been talking about the fact that President Poopy Pants has made consumer sentiment almost as low as his approval rating. We talked about the fact that the SEC has declined the Bitcoin ETF, Disney marking 2 years, Disney Plus marking 2 years. So let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here for of course, my stock picks. All right, so here you go. So there was a nice little bump today in the market, and it rose about a few hundred points, as you know. It rose 180 points. This morning, I saw a trend, by the way, that I couldn't resist, and I literally paid 4 cents for a 150 strike price call for Apple, and in 15 minutes, I sold it for 23 cents. With 500 contracts, that was like a $9,000 profit in 15 minutes. I was pretty excited. By the way, as you know, Disney moved up a bit, but I still believe this is an enormous buying opportunity. So, and I like it at 160. It's pretty good. Rivian slowed down a bit, but it was up about 5 points. I still like the company as a long-term play. It may even pull back a little bit. It may even be nice. If it hits 100, a little bit less than 100, I would go for it. When the stock options are ready and they settle, I'll let you know what I think of them as well. I think it'll be pretty good. Meta, or Facebook, popped today, and I'm not sure what made it go up, but it was up like 13 points at one point. It's pretty wild. I also think that the investors are pleased with the new name and what it means in the world of investing. So Elon Musk today sold another $687 million in Tesla stock after he sold billions earlier this week. But Tesla is still over 1,000, and that's pretty cool. CCL and AAL are in the buying range. I like CCL at 22 as both a stock and a stock option play. Both will come up nicely. I actually bought some CCL February options with a strike price of 20 right before the broadcast. Let's talk a little bit about the crypto scene. As I reported, the SEC rejected VanEck's ETF that sought to track Bitcoin directly. That made Bitcoin pull back a bit, but I actually thought it would be a lot more. It wasn't that substantial. It's still hovering at around 64,000. Ether is still around 4,600. Of course, Shiba is still in the 50 to 56 millionth of a cent range. And look, we're all looking for that thing to pop. I mean, I see all these things. The Shiba army wants it to go to 1 cent. It'd be freaking awesome. Hey, if it goes to a half a cent, I'd be super happy, right? Doge is also holding out at about 25 to 27. And since I was having so much fun with all of this, I decided to buy some AMP. Yep, I bought some AMP this morning at 6 cents. Who cares? Whatever. Hey, if you guys are in any crypto, let me know. I'd love to hear about the crypto plays you're making. And of course, if you made any money with any of the tips we talked about, let's go. So Kittens is my favorite stalker. Is it stalker or is it a troll? My favorite troll. So she's hysterical. So she wants to know if my jacket is stinky. No, Kittens, it's not stinky. I didn't put it in the litter box. All right, don't forget we'll be moving on the 29th to 7:30, and we'll be live on the radio at WWDB as of December 1st. By the way, are you going to listen or watch? I really hope you are, and I'm hoping that my favorite troll, Kittens, is listening to us in Philadelphia on WWDB at 7:30 as of December 1st. By the way, like I said, if you've made any money on any of the tips discussed in this show, please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share button, and we really appreciate you guys having the patience as we had to move our studio today because of the technical difficulties. Of course, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in the show. The opinions discussed in this show is solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you probably next week. Of course I sound like Kermit the Frog. I've been saying that for 20 years, Kittens, that I sound like Kermit the Frog. This is Kermit the Frog speaking. See ya.